friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chesswise. Today onwards we are beginning the crash course in King and Pawn Endgame, and we are going to have 5 lessons based on that. Each lesson will have 4 positions, and these lessons are very much suitable for 1000 to 1600 level, means unrated players to 1600 level players, they will get most benefit from these positions. So I will have basic position covered, and then I will try to take positions which are of somewhat higher level. Let's start with the first lesson today. It's the power of opposition. We are going to discuss why opposition is one of the most important concepts in King and Pawn Endgame. So this is the position, theoretical one. Opposition means whenever kings are in front of each other and there is either 1, 3, 5 or 7 squares between them. Usually one square is regarded as a normal opposition. 3, 5 and 7 are distant or long distant opposition. The main concept of opposition is that the side who has the move, he suffers. Means suppose this is black to play, we will say white has the opposition. Means black king will have to move away and the white king will penetrate. So let's try to understand that with the first example, why the opposition is so important. So this position we will treat for both white to play and black to play and see what happens. As I said, if it is black to play, the black king will either move d7 or f7 and the white king will penetrate from the other side. If king f7, then white would have played kd6. Now see, black can play ke8 and now see, white goes ke6, again taking opposition, forcing the king to one of the sides. Let's say king f8, then kd7, kf7, e5, kf8, e6, and the pawn wins because all the 3 squares are covered by the white king. So we saw how important the opposition was. Now let's say in this same position it's white to play, then see white fails to convert the position. After kd5, kd7, same would be kf5, which would be met by kf7. Now see, the pawn has to be advanced, and as soon as the pawn and king come together, it's not possible to win anymore. Black just plays ke7, e6, and here black has the only correct move. He has to take opposition when the white king reaches 6th rank. So now he hides in front of the pawn, leaving 1 square. So now what happens? If king goes to d6, then kd8, black gets the opposition. See, after e7, ke8, ke6, it's a stalemate. And if white tries to wait, then see, let's say kd5, ke7, ke5, and now again black has the only correct move, ke8. Wherever the white king goes, black goes to the corresponding opposing square and takes the opposition. Means kf6, then kf8, kd6, then kd8, and it would be drawn. Let's move on to the next one. So we have the second position here. Once again, it illustrates the power of opposition. Right now see, white is in some trouble here. It looks like white will lose the game. It's white to play. Let's see whether white can hold the game. Firstly, if white plays kc2, then we see that after the move kd4, the black king advances. And now if white tries the trick e5, see what happens is, if d takes e5, then white manages to take the opposition and we will reach the position similar to the previous one, ke4, ke2, and it will be drawn. But strangely here, black takes with the king and suddenly see the white had only placed ke3 to hold the game. King cannot reach there, and see after kc3, ke4, black would win, and after kd3, kd5 also black gets opposition. And see, the black king penetrates and black will win the game. Once the king reaches 6th rank, the position becomes winning. So the small tip is, king on 6th rank and pawn behind it makes the position winning. So here white has a very different idea. He plays the move e5. Looks very strange at first, but what's the idea? See, if d takes e5, then now we realize white goes for the distant opposition with kc1, and see, no matter what black does, he cannot win. e4, then see kd2, kd4, allowing opposition, but this time the king and pawn are together. So after ke2, it's a drawn game. Same technique, e3, ke1, kd3, kd1, and it's drawn. And after any other king move, white gets the opposition. kc4, then kc2, kd4, then kd2, and I hope you must have understood kd5, then the only move kd1 and the game is drawn. King has place on e1 now. kd4 then kd2, ke4 then ke2. e4 can also be met by ke2. It's a drawn game. Finally, the only other attempt to play d5 doesn't cause any problem at all. Just the king moves to d2. Now see, kd4 loses to e6. So black might play d4, kd3, kd5 and white just plays e6. King into e6 forced and then kd4 gets to a drawn position. So these positions, see, I am trying to make it in an order of difficulty so that it's like a crash course. So I need not complete many positions of same type, but we will jump from position to position of higher difficulty. Let's move on to the next one. So we have the third position here. Again, this is slightly difficult than the previous one. Many people are unable to solve this position. But if we use the concept properly, it will be easy. We can use two methods here. One, we should try to use the concept of oppositions, and then we can use other candidate moves. Or many people generally do it other way around. They find different candidate moves and eventually they embark on the solution. So here see, white has most obviously two moves. One is kf2 and one is kg3. That is normal candidate moves wise. And if we want to use opposition, there is the move king f1. So let's discuss all the three quickly. After kf2, there comes kd2. Black gets the opposition. Black wins very easily here. See, king g2, king e2, kg3, and the king enters from the f1 square. The king comes behind, and this procedure is called outflanking. After opposition, when we enter from the side, it's called outflanking. Now see, after kg4, just kf2, kg5, kf3, and the black pawn promotes. kd2, kg3 also it's no different, same ke3. Now if kg4 then kf2 and kg2, ke2 again transposes to the previous line. So we saw that kf2 loses. Let's look at kf1. After kf1, kd2, kf2, at least white manages the opposition. But here there is another problem. The black king has got another place, that is d3. And now see, correspondingly white doesn't have a place to counter this opposition. And now whatever white plays, black gets the opposition only. kg3 is met by ke3, kg2, ke2, kg3, kf1, kg4, kf2, like the previous position. See, after kg5, kf3, kf5, e4, white falls one move short. That is why in all the endgames, one should try to use the concept and finding the move. If we can club both of these together, then it's easier to find candidates. So here white has the only move king h1, and see, the game becomes drawn. White takes a distant opposition. The task which normal opposition couldn't attain, that is done by the move kh1. Now see, there are two tactical points. One is g4. It looks like after g4 white will lose, because after fg, e4, g5, e3, g6, e2, g7, e1 queens with a check. But here white has the strange intermezzo, kg2. Now suddenly see what has happened. If kd2, the king has to waste the move, and after fg4, e4, g5, e3, g6, e2, g7, e1, g8 queen, it's a drawn game. After pawn takes pawn, on the other hand, king just goes to f3, kd2, and the white king reaches e4 first, and again it's drawn. The pawn is lost. Means the g4 move fails. Let's look at the main move kd2. Black tries to keep the king away, kh2, once again managing distant opposition. Point is simple, whenever black king comes closer, white will move to a corresponding square with an opposition. Means ke2, then g2, e3, then g3. Black again tries kd3, and this is his final attempt. Now white has the only move kh3, once again taking the distant opposition. And now see, wherever king comes, ke3, kg3, ke2, kg2, and the position just repeats again, ke3, kg3. Of course, you must have noted playing e4 doesn't help, because fe, ke4, kg4 and g5 is lost. So white is able to draw only with the help of the move king h1. let's move to the final position of this lesson. We have the final position here. Again, it's a bit complicated. At first, it looks like what is there in the position, silly position, right? Just play c6 and after b takes c, kc5, white gets the opposition. What is there? kd8, kd6, now c5, then b7 wins, kc8, kc6, and white manages the opposition, kb8, b7, king a7, kc7, right? And white wins. This is the first look. But after c6, black has the stunning reply, kc8, and suddenly what has happened? cb, kb7 is drawn because kc5 is just met by kb8. The move c7, we can see, is just met by kd7. White cannot make progress. The move kd6 simply allows kb8. bc6, kc6 would have lost. But now see what is the problem. After the move kd7, black will do b takes c6, kc6, and then kc8, and white will be on the move. So this is another standard drawn position. King and pawn c both are on the 6th rank. And after c7 check, again the king comes to c8 and it's drawn. So white will have to use a different technique here. In fact, there are two ways of winning over here. We will discuss one important and easy one. White just plays ke5 using a small tactic here. If ke7 trying to take the opposition, then now comes c6. We have snatched the c d7 square. kd8 loses to cb7 and bc6 loses to b7 when the pawn queens next move. Means basically after the move ke7, we are forcing black to go kc6. Now comes kd4. See, the king has rescued itself from the d5 square, and now after black goes kd7 only, white will go kd5. By the way, if king goes to b5, then just kd5, king a5, kd6, kb5, kc7, ka6 and c6. Then white wins. So here ad7 forced, and now see kd5. So white has managed to waste a move and get the same position. This maneuvering is called triangulation. The king moves in a triangle. Black will have to leave the square c6. Black should play kc8. Instant kd8 allows kd6, and now white takes the diagonal opposition to get into a normal opposition. After kd8, kd6, we will have same position after kb8, kd7. So kd8, kd6, kc8, ke7, kb8, kd7. This is the same position as direct kb8. First force the king to go to 8 and then sack the pawn with c6, forcing c bc6 because kb8 then c7, c8 mates. So b takes c6 force. Here white can win in both the ways, but kc7 is much stronger. After c5, b7, k7, b8 queen. Next move it's a mate with qb6. By the way, it must be noted that after kc6 we have got this diagonal opposition, and after kb8 here only drawing move would have been kc8, but the king can't reach there. So after b7, ka7, kc7 also white wins the game. So with this I tried to cover main aspects of opposition. Of course, this opposition theme will reoccur in other chapters also, but in the next lesson we will cover some other concept of king and pawn endgame. I hope you will find something new in these lessons which is useful and instructive. Do let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time.